In this session, we are going to learn or go through uh, some of the important tables as far as user administration are concerned. You need to know these table names for different reasons, because sometimes your managers would come and ask you for some reports, and you may not have a ABAP program written for it. So the only way you can deliver those reports is by extracting data from the tables. Now, the data for the report could come from one table, it could come from two tables, or three tables. So you need to know, need to understand the relationship between those tables and how you can use the information from such tables to build your report. So in this session, we're going to see some of the important tables as far as user administration is concerned. As you know, data in SAP system is stored in tables, and the data is created using transaction codes. And when you use a transaction codes for creating something or modifying something in the SAP system, that data goes and gets stored in multiple tables. It could be one table depending on what you're doing. The data can be maybe stored in one table, or it could go and get stored in different tables. And if the data is stored in different tables, then those tables are linked with each other through a key field. Most of the tables which are related to user administration, the key field that links different user administration related tables will be the user ID. And we are going to see some of those tables which you could use on a regular basis. We'll go through the tables. Now, data can be maintained in the tables directly by using the transaction codes S11 or S16 or SM30 or SM31. Now, you can only do that if the table maintenance is allowed on the table, and you can see this table maintenance. It's a technical setting that you can see in the attributes of the table. If that in the attributes of the table if it is mentioned that the table maintenance is allowed, then you can use SA16 technically to go and modify some record in the table directly. Or in some cases, if a table has a maintenance view created for it, then you could use SM30 to maintain those tables. But SAP does not recommend doing table maintenance directly. SAP recommends that you use a transaction code to work with the data in the SAP system. Because if you use, let's say you modify data, some record in a table using SA16, there's a possibility that you may compromise this data integrity in the SAP system. Because when you use a transaction code, like I said, the data will go and sit in different tables. And we'll see what we mean by that in the next slides when we go through the user administration tables. So there's a possibility that data integrity will be compromised if you maintain the tables directly. So you should avoid doing table maintenance directly using one of these S11 or S16 kind of transaction codes. Transact table USR21. One of the first tables, when you create a user ID, this is one of the first tables that gets an entry in it. A record is created. Every user ID that you create using SU01, for all those user IDs, there will be one record created in this table, USR21. Now, what does this table contain? This table contains your user IDs, user ID and SAP generated person number and address number. Now, these two pieces of information, like person number and address number, can be used to pull out other information such as email IDs, telephone numbers, etc. from other tables, because email IDs and telephone numbers are also part of your user master record. So if you want to find out somebody's email ID or email ID of users, want to develop want to create a report which let's say lists the user ID and their last name, first name, and their email IDs, then the person number and address number could help you to find that information out from the SAP system. So USR21 is one of the first tables that gets an entry when you create a user ID. So let us go to transaction EC16 and take a look at the table USR21. Now you can see here that you have the user, person number, address number, and the cost center. So you can give a user ID and execute. You'll get the record for that user ID. You can see the person number, you can see the address number, and there's a cost center. Now this cost center is the number or the entry that you make in the logon data tab of in the SU01 screen. So these pieces of information, the person number or the address number, will be useful to you if you want to find out using a table what is the email ID for, let's say, the user Subha, and we'll see what those tables are in the coming slides. So USR21 is probably is one of the first tables that gets a record for every user ID that you create. And in this table, the important fields would be person number and address number. USR02. Probably the most important table as far as user administration is concerned, because this table contains your logon information. Now, what is practically whatever information you put in SU01 while creating a user ID in using SU01, most of those information from the user master record is stored in USR02. What kind of information? For example, your passwords. The last 5 passwords that you have used, uses, is stored in this table. The user's log status, whether the user ID is logged or unlocked, is again stored in USR02. Validity period that you maintain in the logon data tab is maintained in this table. The user group, the user group that a user belongs to can be used in is maintained in this table USR02 and the last logon date. So USR02 contains the logon information of a particular user ID. So let's go to transaction EC16 and let's see how we can use USR02. Now, for example, let's say I want to find out USR02 can be used in different ways. Okay, for example, I want to find out who created what IDs have been created by so and so user. So, for example, let's say what IDs were created by Subha. So I can enter in the creator field, I can enter the creator name and execute. Now if you look, Subha has created about 24 user IDs. So you can find out, in this case, you found out what IDs were created by so and so user administrator, for example. You can find out, for example, what user ID belongs to a particular group. For example, let's say we can pick from here. For example, let's take developer, for example, and hit the develop. So all this, there are 56 users that belong to the group developer. For example, if you want to find out how many user IDs have been logged, then you could say select, let's say, depending on what the way it was logged. For example, 64 is logged by the user administrator, or 128 is logged due to incorrect login attempts. So let's say put 64 and click execute. So you have about, so because there are 200 users, because there's a limit here. So if you increase the limit, you can exactly get the 1155 users that have been logged, that are logged in the SAP system. So similarly, using a USR02, you can also find out when was the last log-on date of a particular user or a group of users. So let's say last log-on date, let's say is today. If you put today's date and execute, these are 5 user IDs that logged in today. So you can find out the last log-on date of a particular user or a group of users by specifying a range. This is very useful sometimes, this last log-on date information, because there are times when you are asked to provide a report saying that how many people logged in the last 6 months. Because if people have not used the system for 6 months, then a decision needs to be made whether you need those user IDs to be there in the system or not. So if you don't want those user IDs to be in the IDs to be in the system, you may want to log them or delete them. So you might want to find out how many people, what is the frequency of users using the system. So last log-on date field will help you in finding that out. For example, if you find out how many dialog users are there, or how many communication type users are there, then the user type field becomes handy for you. Similarly, the valid from valid through date. If you want to see how many users are getting expired or within a particular time frame, you can use the validity dates to find those user IDs out, and then either extend their user IDs or log those user IDs or delete those user IDs depending on what the policy is. So validity dates in this piece of information is again very useful to ensure that people are not unnecessarily prevented from getting into the system. So you can use USR02, like you have seen, for so many purposes. For different kinds of, you can generate different kinds of report using USR02. Now, one thing you have to remember in this case is, if you really observe, you have the user ID, but you don't have, for example, if I put it in a particular way, you don't have the last name and the first name of this user in this table. So let's say you want to generate a report which says the last name, user ID, the last name and the first name, the user group, the log status. Then this table itself is not enough. I mean, you can get the user ID from here, you can get the user group from USR02, you can get the log status from USR02, but you don't get the last name and the first name information from USR02. For that, you'll have to use some other table. And that other table is user underscore ADDR. Now, this is it's not a table, it's actually a view. And this view or table will give you the information such as the last name and the first name of the user. It also gives the complete name, the cost center that you have entered in the user master record. So you can use USR02 to get the logon information, and you can use user underscore ADDR to get the last name and the first name. So let's go and enter user underscore ADDR and enter the user ID. Now you can see the last name and the first name field here. Now the one thing you have to note that what you get here is the field labels. Now sometimes when you go to the SE16 or the selection screen, you may get actually the actual field names here. So let's say see this. So go to user parameters. If I select field name here, you get the actual field names from the table, which sometimes may not be that helpful. So if you want to use the labels for those field names, then you go to settings and the menu settings, and then go to keyword section and select the field label radio button. So settings and user parameters. So field label radio button would give you the text description of the fields. So let's say, okay, so we enter the user ID and user underscore ADDR and hit execute. Let's set the vertical. So you can see the the first name and the last name, the complete name, and the cost center that you have entered in the logon data tab of the user. So you can use user underscore ADDR to get the last name, first name information, and probably you can use the USR02 table to get the user group, the validity period, and the lock status, etc. Now if you observe, USR02 and user underscore ADDR are linked with, have a common field called user, the user ID. So if the data in the table in the SAP system is distributed to multiple tables, then those tables are linked with some common key field. And in this case, in the case of user underscore ADDR and USR02, the key field is the user ID. So USR02 gives you the logon information, user underscore ADDR gives you the last name and the first name information. Now cost center is something that you get additional from user underscore ADDR. Now in the logon data tab, when you create a user ID, there is you'll see a field called user group. Those user groups that you see come from the table USGRP. User groups are created by using the transaction code SUGR. So when you create a user group in SUGR, those entries get stored in the table USGRP. Now USGRPT is another table which contains the text of what you enter in USRGRP. I mean text meaning the description of that user groups in different languages, like in German or English or Spanish. The translations for the descriptions that you give for user groups are stored in USGRPT. SA16 and let's say USGRP, and let's go and execute. You see these are the different user groups that have been created using the transaction SUGR, and this is the list that you see in SU01 screen in the logon user group field in the logon data tab. Now USGRPT is for the translation for the text for the user groups. For example, if I want to see the translation in German, you'll see the German translations here for if they are maintained. Similarly, if you give any other language in the language field, you'll get the translations for those in those languages. Now, provided those languages have to be installed in the SAP system, the basis team would do that. So if a basis, whatever languages have been installed by the basis team, if you specify that language here, you'll see the description for that user groups in that specific language. Another important table that you see is ADRP. Now any table that begins with ADRP, ADR will contain the address information. Basically, the information that you put in the address tab in SE01. Now, the pieces of information that you can get out of this table, the address tables, can be only got from either from the person number or the address number. Now, address number and person number can be found out from the table USR21. So what the table ADRP, from this table you can basically find out the first name, last name, and the complete name of a particular user. It's not a very straightforward mechanism, because to use this ADRP table you need the person number. And where do you get the person number from? You get the person number from USR21. So you have the user ID in USR21, so you have the user ID from there. Using that user ID, you pick up the person number, then come to ADRP and pick up the first name and last name of that particular user ID. So let's go and we'll see how to do that now. So ADRP contains the first name, last name, and complete name of a particular user. So let's go to SE16 and then enter the table ADRP, and person number was, let's say, 450454 for Subha. So click on enter the thing. Now as you see, I can have the first name and the last name and the complete name. So I can use this table ADRP also to get the last name and the first name. The other table that we can use for getting the last name first name was user underscore ADDR. So we can use this also. The ADRP and USR02 are linked by person number in a way, but the person number has to be found out from USR21. So if you want to use ADRP for a report which gives the user ID, the last name and the first name, for example, then you could use USR21 and to find out the person number, and then you can use ADRP to find out the last name and the first name, and then you can take USR02 to get the user ID. So using ADRP, you can get the information about a first name and the last name of a user. So in the user master record, if you have maintained the telephone number, that piece of information gets stored in the table ADCP. So if you want to find out somebody's telephone number, you can use this table ADCP. Now again, for this you need to know the person number or the address number of that user ID, and that person number and the user address number can be got from the table USR21. So you can take a user ID, go to USR21, pick up the person number, go to ADCP, and then you can find out the telephone number. So in SE16, let's go and enter the table name ADCP, and let's go and enter the person number and hit execute. And You see the person number and you have the telephone number here. Now let's go and confirm this in SU01. So go to SU01 and enter the user ID Subba and say change your display is 123-456-789. So you can see the telephone number is there in the table ADCP. Now, but to get to this, you first need to find out the person number, and that you can find of the user ID, and that relationship, the user ID to person number or address number relationship is stored in the table USR21. So you can see how useful USR21 is in these cases. Similarly, if you want to find out the fax number of a user, if it has been maintained in the user master record, then to find out the fax number, you can use the table ADR3. Now, again for this, you need the person number of that user ID or the address number of that user ID, which can be you can get from USR21. Now again, the fax number has to be specified in the user master record in the address tab of SU01. If you don't, then there will be no entry in this table for that user ID. ADR6. This table contains the email ID of the user. So again, for finding out the email ID of a user, you need to find out the person number from USR21 table for that user, and then go to ADR6 and get the email ID for that user. So in SA16, let's enter ADR6 and take the person number that we have and execute. Now here's the thing, you don't see the email IDs in the horizontal format. So double click on the record and you will see the email ID in a vertical format. So from ADR6 you can find out the email ID of the user. Now again, for finding this out, you need the person number, and you can find this person number in the table USR21, provided you know the user ID. So if you want to, let's say you want to generate a report which gives the user ID, the last name, first name, the user group, the last logon date, the log status, email ID, then you would end up using all these tables. For user ID, user group, let's say you use user02. For last name, first name, you would use user_ADDR, and for email ID, you will use ADR6. Now, but to get the email ID, you also need to use USR21 because that contains the person number for that user. So these are some of the important tables as far as user administration is concerned. So any table for user administration related tables, user information is stored in any tables that begin with USR. So you can go to SA16 or S11 and put USR and star and press F4 key, or you can click on this icon and you'll get the list of tables which would contain the user information. Now, not all these tables will contain records in them. Many of them would be empty because some of them are structures, and structures do not contain data, permanent data. So any table that begins with USR would contain the user related information. Any table that begins with ADR star and F4 or this would contain the address information of the user. Address information meaning your telex numbers or telephone numbers or fax numbers or email IDs. All those are stored in, or your address and your home address, your street name, your house number, all those pieces of address information is stored in the tables that begin with ADR. So ADR6, ADR2, ADR3, all these tables contain the address information of the user. Now, another table which is very critical for you is USR 40. Now, USR 40 contains, this is one table that you can maintain directly using SE16, because this allows you to maintain the records in the table. Now, this table will contain impermissible passwords, meaning, for example, this doesn't contain anything right now. For example, I can go and say hit create, and I can say, let's say ABCD star and save. What it means is that impermissible password, illegal passwords or impermissible passwords, what it means is that a user cannot use any password that would begin with the first 4 characters, a password with ABCD, password that begin with ABCD. So for example, if I want to use ABCD 1, 2, 3, 4, I cannot use that, because this table contains list of illegal passwords. So for example, if I say 1, 2, 3, 4 star, which means that I cannot use any password that begins with 1, 2, 3, 4. I could say 1, 2, ABC, that could be used, but the first 4 characters cannot be 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say Jan star, for example. This again would mean that I cannot use a password that begins with JAN. So for example, if I want to use a password like January, I cannot use it, because this table USR 40 contains the string Jan star. Star meaning anything after, let's say in this case Jan. Anything that appears after Jan I cannot use. So USR 40 is a very important table from audit point of view also. Auditors, when they come, they also look whether you are using this table or not. And this table contains the list of illegal passwords. This becomes part of your password rules, for what words can be used or cannot be used as passwords in your place. So this is again very important table as far as user administration is concerned, because it contains the list of words that cannot be used as passwords.